You know, there are people out there who would actually appreciate a good, honest, fact-based, and data-driven debate about reforming the nation's healthcare system. Pity. But if there isn't a whole lot of sense to lots of the rhetoric against reform, there's definitely a lot of tense. That's right, just in case the present tense and the past tense and the future tense and the subjunctive and the conditional and all the rest aren't quite enough to satisfy you, suddenly there's the cataclysmic hypothetical tense, as in the provisions of this bill could lead to pulling the plug on grandma, or this so-called reform puts us on the road toward a government takeover of the healthcare system, or even the president's position moves us one step closer to a totalitarian, socialist, communist, fascist state. The cataclysmic hypothetical tense. See, it's no longer necessary for the particular horrible somebody's railing against to actually be in a bill. These days, it's enough simply to suggest that under the most sinister possible interpretation of every word and number and punctuation mark in the bill, but also every word, number, and punctuation mark that isn't in the bill, something terrible might just possibly, potentially, conceivably happen. They can't prove it, but they don't have to. The other side can't disprove it. Maybe this or that phrase really could mean we get invaded by swarms of illegal aliens. Or for that matter, swarms of intergalactic aliens from the planet Rudy Toot. Is there anything in the bill that specifically prohibits intergalactic swarms? What does that tell you? And what about Thursdays? Why doesn't it say anything about Thursdays? And how about when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars? Petrified yet? No? Just give them time. First they use the cataclysmic hypothetical tense to stir up the fears. Then they say, well, we're not saying it's true necessarily, but it's what people are talking about, so let's talk about it some more. Very nice. Very clever. You ought to know, though, believing nonsense can move your brain one step closer to mashed potatoes.